Good morning and welcome to Monday Morning Mobility. My name is Jeff Blanchard and it is my privilege to bring you a little mentorship and training from a physical therapist perspective. I have the best job in the world because every day in my coaching I get to see people improve their abilities and eliminate unnecessary pain from their lives. And now especially is a great time to share what I know by way of technology to teach you how to enjoy a better quality of life, get a better handle on some pain that you might have, and encourage you to choose activity over sedentary living every day. Today's topic is neck pain. So when I say neck pain, I'm not just talking about this area that we call our necks. I'm talking about this whole area back through here because it really is associated with the neck. In fact, people will come in and they'll say, I have this shoulder pain. And they're pointing back here to the back of their shoulder blade area. And let me tell you right now, if you're having pain back in the shoulder blade area, 9 times out of 10, it's coming from your neck. So very similar to what we talked about in regards to the low back, the neck is very similar. A lot of it comes down to how you hold your head and how you align your body. Now there's a diagnosis out there right now called text neck. And I imagine that you can guess why it's called text neck. It's because people are doing a lot of this. They're standing there doing this, and they're walking around and they're doing this, and they're constantly looking down at their phone and playing on their phones. So what that does is it drops your head way forward of your body and out of your body alignment. Okay, so there's a great graphic that I share with my patients, and it's about how much does your head weigh. So your head weighs roughly about 9% of your body weight. So let's say your head weighs roughly 12 pounds and it weighs 12 pounds in this position. If you're holding your head in this position here, well, now your head weighs 30 pounds, okay? And go around and look at people from the side and look and see how often they're actually carrying their head in front of their bodies in this position. They're carrying more than twice the weight of a normal head in front of their bodies. And then someone who's way out into this position, well, now it weighs 45 pounds. If I'm doing this with a device and looking down at the device, it's like you're carrying this heavy bowling ball in the front of your body, which is traumatizing all of the muscles back here behind your neck and in your shoulder blade area. So over time, those muscles get overused, they don't get enough blood, they don't get enough oxygen, and muscles that don't get blood and don't get oxygen are not happy muscles, and they will let you know with pain. So, and that's muscular, and then there's the ligaments as well. You're stretching all the ligaments out back there. So those ligaments are getting longer and more stretched out, which means that you are going to have a sloppier neck back through there. And then the muscles in the front of your neck are going to get shorter and shorter and tighter and tighter. So oftentimes I'll find people come in and their muscles right here in the fronts of their necks are super tight. These are your scalene muscles, and they're not supposed to be tight. So you want these muscles relaxed, you want these muscles back in here fairly relaxed. But for, I would say, 80 to 90% of our population, if you go and grab their shoulders, you're going to find knots, muscle tension. That's because most people are carrying their heads out there in front of their bodies. So I wanted to give you a couple of exercises and a few ideas that you could use to try to help make sure that you're not falling into that position. So one, let's talk about reading and looking at, let's say, your computer or your phone. Okay, so here I am on my phone. Look at my spine. What is my spine doing? My head is in front of my body. My back is completely curved. I don't even have a lumbar curve. I've lost my lumbar curve. My spine has turned into a complete C position. So what is that doing? It's loading the muscles. It's loading the discs in the wrong way. And over time, this is going to become something, just this position will cause you pain. So, and people could be here for hours of time. So how are you going to get on your phone and text in a better way? So one thing I would suggest that you do is that you lean yourself back, maybe put a pillow behind your back, lean back and get yourself into this position where your shoulders are more over your hips. The next thing is bring your phone up to your head. And so you can get into this position. You can see that Right now, my head weighs so much less in this position than it weighs in this position here. So having your head back in this position, if you're going to be here for a while, let's say you're going to read a book, then you might say take a couple of pillows, prop your arms on those pillows, and then prop the book in this position, and then you can read here as opposed to reading down in this position. If you've ever heard of a dowager's hump, okay, so a dowager's hump is where this part of your spine gets more and more deformed going that direction, so you end up with a hump back there. I hear a lot of people say, well, you know, my grandma had it, so I'm going to have it. It must be a genetic thing. It really comes down to, do you position yourself in some of these positions? If you do, you're going to tend to bring your body that way. But if you are holding yourself in a better posture, better alignment, even if your grandma had it, chances are you probably are not going to have that. So having your head back in this position is going to help keep your spine, again, in a better position, whether reading or on the phone. Okay, so one of the things that you can do to work on tightness and soreness back and through there is get your hands on a foam roll. So I'm going to take you through a couple of ideas for exercises that you can do to help to loosen up your spine and get you in a better posture position. So one of the things that you can do is take your foam roll and set it down on the floor, and then lie down on it in this fashion. So I would suggest that you have your hands behind your head and that you start off with the foam roll right around where your shoulder blades are. Now typically what I'll have people do is I'll have them lift up and then start right at their neck, and then try to let your head relax back, and then slowly roll yourself along. And make sure you're breathing and you're not holding your breath at all as you're rolling yourself along. You want to roll down to about mid-back. So I would go right about down to here as long as it's comfortable. You don't want to roll into any pain. And then you can start over from the top and start again. All right, so that's one example of an exercise that you can do. Foam rolls come in different amounts of softness. This is a medium softness foam roll. If you don't like deep pressure massage and you have a lot of pain, I would suggest that you start with a soft foam roll. It's going to be much, much more comfortable. If you like deep pressure and you want that deep pressure to kind of help move things, then something that's more like this, a medium or a hard foam roll would be best. So the next thing that I'll have people oftentimes do is lie down along their spine. So now as you're here in this position, the foam roll is pushing on your spine and helping your spine to straighten out. Now if you're lying here and your forehead and your chin are the same height, then you should be good. But if you're lying here and you're in this position and your chin is sticking up in the air, that means that your back is super tight and you need a pillow under your head. So you want to have your chin and your forehead at the same height. Okay, so then from here, what I would suggest that you do is that you just let your arms open up and you work on opening up your chest and stretching out your chest. So you can go this way here, and then you can reach up this way, open up your chest, stretching, taking some breaths while you're here, and then going up into here, same thing, and then going up into here. Now, you want to be careful that you don't get any pain with this, especially shoulder pain. If you have a really tight shoulder, you might get what we call impingement syndrome. We'll talk about impingement at a future Monday morning mobility. But for now, if you're having pain in that shoulder, just don't do this exercise. There's other alternative exercises that you can do instead of this one. I don't want you to make one thing worse while you're working on something else. So that would be the other thing that you could do while you're on your foam roll. So one more exercise I'll give you to try to help work on your posture and your shoulder blade position and your neck is a row. So you can take a band, you can attach it to a doorknob or loop it around something, and then basically stand back starting in this position, and then from here you're going to pull the band back to here. That's your end point. You don't want to pass your body with your elbows. Squeeze your shoulder blades back behind you, and then you're going to relax and let the arms go back to the front, and your shoulder blades will come forward again. So coming back, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze those shoulder blades behind you. Go right about to there with your elbows. Make sure your head is in a good alignment and it's not in this position. So you're coming back to here, chest high, and then you're going to relax back to your start point there. So thank you for joining me for this today's episode of Monday Morning Mobility for neck pain and posture. If you enjoyed today's episode or found it helpful in any way, please share it with a friend and please leave us a review. If you have a topic that you'd like to hear about, please leave it in the comment section below. Until next time, choose movement over being sedentary, because motion is lotion.